So do you see how the comparison can be in real time then of who is actually the best nigga in the NBA between them two? I'm sorry if you wasn't a fan back then to have listened to this. The world was trying to see who was a better player between those two. They were roughly the same age, competing for the scoring title.
The scoring title? What if I told you the Lakers dynasty almost took a completely different path? What if Tracy McGrady wasn't just playing next to Kobe Bryant, but was meant to replace him as Shaq's running mate? We're pulling back the curtain on Jerry West's quiet plan that could have flipped NBA history upside down. T-Mac was actually older than Shaq. Crazy, right? And before this alternate reality blows your brain, tap that subscribe button because we're about to expose how close McGrady really came to rocking purple and gold. And trust me, by the end of this breakdown, those Lakers championships won't hit the same. You'll question everything you thought you knew.
I was first team All-NBA. Shaq is averaging 38 and 16 in the finals. If I was Shaq's teammate at that time,
I don't know. Penny Hardaway didn't get one.
Penny was a second-year player.
I'm just saying.
Penny Hardaway was older than Shaq.
Back in 2003, the NBA scoring leader, Gilbert Arenas, has been loud lately. Back in Tracy McGrady's controversial take about winning rings next to Shaq, people brushed it off, but here's the wild part. This wasn't just fantasy talk. Jerry West seriously pushed for this move, not in 1996 before Kobe arrived, but in 1997 when Kobe was already on the roster. According to former Lakers coach Del Harris, Jerry West became locked in on Tracy McGrady after his 1997 pre-draft workout. And when I say locked in, I mean the logo was ready to flip the whole roster to get him.
Why would I mention Tracy McGrady being compared to Kobe? Kobe Bryant averaged 30 points a game in 02-03. Do you want to see what T-Mac? 02-03. 02-03, the leading scorer in the NBA.
This isn't rumor talk. This is real history buried under championship confetti. So let's rewind to where it all began. July 1996, the legendary Adidas ABCD camp. Tracy McGrady walks in wearing jersey number 175. Yeah, 175. He was literally the last player invited. Nobody knew who this kid from Florida even was. He wasn't on the top 500 recruiting list. No hype, no buzz, nothing.
Who is actually the best nigga in the NBA between them two? I'm sorry if you wasn't a fan back then to have listened to this. The world was trying to see who was a better player between those two. They were roughly the same age, competing for the scoring title.
And this is where it gets wild. Adidas had two future superstars in that camp system. Kobe had already started turning heads, but T-Mac, this unknown kid, went from jersey 175 to the #1 ranked player in the country almost overnight. By the end of that camp, we're talking about a 6'8" guard crossing up Lamar Odom and Windmill, dunking on guys who would end up in the NBA. Sonny Vaccaro gave McGrady that stage, and the kid absolutely destroyed it. NBA scouts were calling their GMs during halftime saying, "We found the next one." That's not exaggeration. That's how fast it happened.
To watch him work out, it was like ridiculous, okay? I mean, he's like a man playing against kindergarten people. That's how advanced he was. He was versatile, but he was a ferocious defender.
Fast forward to 1997, T-Mac enters the draft, and guess who's right there? Jerry West and the Lakers. Remember, they already had Kobe from the year before, but according to Del Harris himself, and this is a direct quote, McGrady's workout was even more impressive than Kobe's legendary session that convinced West to trade for him. Think about that for a second. Jerry West watched teenage Kobe cook Michael Cooper and said, "Yeah, he's special." Then he watched T-Mac a year later and said, "Hold up, we might need both of them." The logo was trying to build a big three before big threes were even a thing. Shaq, Kobe, and T-Mac. But here's where it all flipped.
There's a lot of moving parts that has to come into play to winning championships. With my game and how I play, you don't think if I had the right pieces around me, I couldn't win a championship? Bro, I was one of the top players in the league. I just didn't have the pieces around me.
Jerry Buss shut it down. He didn't want to give up Eddie Jones, an all-star guard, for another teenager. Buss was desperate to end the title drought and believed adding another high school kid would slow everything down. Imagine being the guy who said no to Tracy McGrady. Now pause. Before we crown T-Mac as the lost Laker legend, let's talk about the Mamba in the room. We need to be honest about what Kobe Bryant really was at 18 years old. Even LeBron James admitted he was fooled by Kobe's basketball genius for years. He said he thought Kobe was calling real plays when he was really just saying, get out the way. So be real, did 18-year-old T-Mac have that same swagger, that same mindset of taking your best defender and dropping 81 on him? Let's not forget what Michael Cooper said after Kobe's workout. He looked around and said, "This kid is better than anyone on our roster right now." Cooper wasn't just anybody. This was a defensive stopper who shut down Larry Bird in the finals. And teenage Kobe Bryant made him look lost. That's not revisionist history. That's exactly how it went down. Now fast forward, and Gilbert Arenas has been loud lately, defending Tracy McGrady's comments about winning rings with Shaq. Gil's been in those locker rooms, went at both of these legends in their primes, and he even dropped 40 on Tracy McGrady the same night Tracy scored 62. And Gilbert said straight up, T-Mac should have had 80 or 90 that night if he didn't lose his rhythm. That's the part people keep skipping.
Tracy McGrady, according to Jerry West, came in with a more mature body and had probably even an even better workout with Michael Cooper the following season when he was supposed to get drafted. And Jerry West was so impressed that his plan was to bring Tracy McGrady onto the Lakers.
Arenas keeps stressing this was about ring culture, not disrespecting Kobe. T-Mac and Kobe were tight, like brothers for real. The argument was never personal. It was about how careers get judged by team success instead of pure talent. As Gil said, the whole conversation was about rings and how they shouldn't define your entire career. And here's the wild part. In 2002, when Kobe already had 3 rings, people were still debating who was better, Kobe or T-Mac. If rings were everything, that debate would have been dead. But T-Mac was averaging 32 a game in Orlando, ringless, and still standing next to a 3-time champion in the conversation. So let's really play this out.
So Jerry West wanted to trade Eddie Jones for Tracy McGrady, but Jerry Buss pulled the plug on the deal. And the reason he did that was because he thought the Lakers would not be in the title mix if they had traded for a young Tracy McGrady. They felt that now Kobe and McGrady, it probably would have took them more time to try to develop, and they probably would have not been in contention for championships for years to come.
What if Jerry Buss had said yes to the T-Mac trade in 1997? 2 paths open up here. Scenario 1, the Lakers keep Kobe, T-Mac, and Shaquille O'Neal together. 3 alpha scorers on 1 squad. Then Phil Jackson shows up in 1999 and has to manage 3 egos instead of 2. Does the triangle even survive with 3 ball-dominant stars, or do they implode like every other overloaded super team? Scenario 2, the Lakers choose T-Mac over Kobe and trade the young Mamba. Maybe Kobe ends up in Toronto teaming with Vince Carter, while LA runs with Shaq and T-Mac as their duo.
I saw a clip, you said something like Kobe tricked you for like 5 years straight, like with.
Oh yeah, with the whole yeah. I thought that was like, you know, because I one thing about me, people know when they play me, like I know all the plays, I read the scouting reports, I do a deep dive in it. So like for forever, I thought it was just like a call that he was calling that Phil Jackson was like, you know, feel like Kobe, you know, how he used to do with Mike, triangle offense. man, I realized that shit was give me the ball and everybody get the fuck out the way.
Based on what we know about Tracy McGrady's personality, more laid back, less confrontational, maybe he and Shaquille O'Neal never have those legendary clashes that eventually split the Lakers up. But here's the real question. Does T-Mac develop that same killer instinct playing next to Shaq from day one, or does he coast on raw talent like critics always claimed? Because let's be real, part of what made Kobe Bryant legendary was his borderline psychotic work ethic. T-Mac was naturally gifted, but Kobe was in the gym at 4 a.m., something Shaq himself admitted. T-Mac had more talent, but Kobe had more dog in him. And T-Mac even admitted the exact moment he knew Kobe had arrived.
There's 3 people in my lifetime that I admired how hard they worked. Jerry Rice, Walter Payton, Kobe Bryant. He never worked out just once a day. He would get up at 4 in the morning.
How can ring culture matter? And I said, Kobe would agree with LeBron because Kobe was affected by the ring culture bullshit that was spewed. He had 3 rings and he was being compared still to Scottie Pippen, and he was being compared to who is better between him and Tracy McGrady.
Game 4 of the 2000 NBA Finals against Indiana. Shaq fouls out in overtime, and a 21-year-old Kobe completely takes over. This wasn't Shaq's sidekick anymore. This was a straight-up killer who wanted to rip your heart out. That's the line between talent and mentality. T-Mac had all the talent in the world. The 13 points in 33 seconds proved that. But did he have that thing? The mindset that makes you play through torn ligaments, broken fingers, and still drop 60. Now let's stick to the historical record.
Now he scared me. Kobe scared the living shit out of me, because here's why. Kobe was a savant. You did not know more basketball than Kobe Bryant.
Del Harris confirmed that Jerry West wanted to trade for T-Mac's draft rights in 1997. That deal would have required giving up Eddie Jones and probably more just to move from the Lakers pick into the top 10, where T-Mac was projected. In the end, T-Mac went 9th to Toronto. For the Lakers to land him, they would have needed a major deal with one of those top teams. The price? Eddie Jones, an all-star, their first-round pick, and possibly Eldon Campbell. That's a massive gamble for an 18-year-old who hadn't played a single NBA minute. But Jerry West was fully locked in. This is the same man who built Showtime, found Kobe, and brought Shaq to LA, and he was ready to bet it all on Tracy McGrady. If that doesn't tell you how special T-Mac was as a prospect, nothing will. Now look, we can argue hypotheticals all day, but here's the cold reality. Kobe Bryant, 5 championships, 2 finals MVPs, 1 MVP, an 81-point game, 18-time All-Star. Tracy McGrady, 0 championships, 0 finals appearances, 2 scoring titles. And that right there is the difference people can't stop arguing about. 7-time All-Star. But context matters. Tracy McGrady never had Shaq-level help. When T-Mac finally got Grant Hill, his ankles completely gave out. When he teamed up with Yao Ming, Yao's feet broke down. The man never played with a healthy Hall of Fame big man in his prime, not once. From 2001 to 2005, T-Mac averaged 28 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists on teams that had no business sniffing the playoffs. He was dragging broken rosters into relevance, doing things almost nobody else in the league could do at that time. The scoring titles, the 62-point explosion, making the playoffs with starting lineups that included Pat Garrity and Andrew DeClercq. Stephen A. Smith said it best. Tracy McGrady was probably more gifted, but Kobe Bryant was a savage. Stephen A. even admitted, Kobe scared the hell out of me. And here's why. Kobe was a straight-up savant. You were not smarter than Kobe on a basketball court, period. And that's the real debate right there. Pure talent versus pure will. Gilbert T-Mac. Anyone who played back then will tell you this argument never ends. Could T-Mac have won rings with Shaquille O'Neal? Absolutely. A 6-foot 8-point guard who could score from anywhere, paired with prime Shaq? That's championships, no debate. But would it have been the same? Would we have gotten the chaos, the drama, the edge that made those Lakers legendary? Probably not. T-Mac was too smooth, too relaxed. The Lakers didn't just need talent, they needed friction. They needed the tension between Shaq's dominance and Kobe's obsession. Jerry West may have wanted T-Mac first, or even alongside Kobe, but basketball history delivered exactly what the Lakers needed, not what they wanted. They got a man who would rather lose everything than accept defeat. A mindset that turned a potential dynasty into a real one through pure force of will. And that's the difference that still splits this debate wide open. So here's the real question. Should Jerry Buss have pulled the trigger on the T-Mac trade? Would 3 alpha scores in 1997 have actually worked? Drop your takes in the comments and tell me, does T-Mac plus Shaq win more than 5 rings? Hit like, subscribe, and share this because in some alternate universe, T-Mac has 5 rings, Kobe's in Toronto with Vince Carter, and we're arguing completely different GOATs. But in this universe, Mamba mentality crushed talent debates, facts over feelings. Man, what could have been?